So, Jessica, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you're enjoying Rome.
I am too much actually, but I have to go home in a couple of days.
You lived in Italy already.
Lived yes in the 90s, so a long time ago. I lived in Siena.
Okay, not in Rome.
No, not in Rome, but I've been here several times as a tourist.
Okay. Well, one thing didn't change is the metro line. As you see, they try to change it
Yes.
eventually.
Very good, also, of course.
We have a little bit of coffee here.
Perfect.
You...
In the EU cups.
I was a bit tense this morning because I knew that I had the chance of interviewing you. So I woke up at 5 a.m. So I definitely need that.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't, but I did take a long walk around Rome this morning. I was very happy.
You visited the Trevi Fountain? No.
Yes, that I did yesterday.
Okay.
But this morning I was back to take the photos because I was early. Not at 5, but early.
Okay.
No, a lot of my interest when now I'm in Rome is on water. So I had the possibility to also look at some really old aqueducts and so Fontana di Trevi,
Yes.
Naturalmonte is a really good
A
spot.
lot to say about water and sustainability, I guess.
In Italy, absolutely. In all of Europe, actually. It's not only in Italy, but we also had this little short visit to the Fontana.
Okay.
So that was good. And also I had the possibility to even go a little bit in on the fountain.
That is forbidden to do most. So you're very
I know.
lucky.
I am lucky. It was like, checking the box.
Yes.
What else can I do? Do this, for example. No.
Yes.
It was really good. But a lot of things that I have in my portfolio, as we say, is about water and water resilience.
And it's also biodiversity and circular economy, right?
Exactly.
Forever chemicals.
Chemicals as such, but forever chemicals, as we call them, also is one of my big topics that we need to have solution, clarity. It's not easy because we also need these chemicals. So that is a tricky question, but also very important for me. Coming from Sweden, we have a huge problem with PFAS in our water, for example.
Also in Italy, yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Areas of the north are
Yes.
severely impacted. So
Yes.
Hopefully you can get a hand.
So what is your tips to me? What should I do with the chemicals?
The chemicals, it's tough. I'm more into food and water. Maybe it would be easier.
Yeah.
Chemicals, it's really something that I tend not to give opinion on things that I don't know much. But I know it's a huge problem. Also because those are forever chemicals. So
Exactly.
what do you do once they're out there in the environment? I guess taking them out, it's basically...
No. One good thing
costly.
is it's costly, but also costly to not do it because people's health, of course, also cost. But it's health, but also it costs a lot of treating people.
Of course.
And also about the environment. But there is techniques and innovation. So I'm also need to have this positive and optimism because otherwise I think it will not be fun to do my job if you are only seeing the problems. I do see the problems and I do see the challenges, but I also want to see on the solutions.
The solutions, of course, yes, of course. I'm very curious. If you would have chosen a different path in your life, a different career, what would have been the dream job? Not politics.
No, I cannot say that because politics is, especially me, I've been doing a lot of different stuff in politics. But if I may, I was a lawyer before, and I also worked a lot with criminality and also and the children as victims. So if I would, and then I dreamt about being a police officer who also take care of the children as victims. So that was one dream that I still have sometimes.
There is this theme of justice eventually that underlies
yes, my pathos,
Yeah, your passion, right?
Yeah.
It's like make the right thing or make things right.
Yes. So that is because I really. I have sometimes said this has been maybe my most important job and funniest job. Of course, it's not funny because it's children that has been hurt in various really terrible ways. But I felt really important.
Do you feel important now?
Yeah, of course I do. I got
You
this
are.
question. I am. Thank you. But sometimes I don't really realize that. I was in this youth dialogue in Stockholm, in Solna, for a couple of weeks ago, and I got one question from one student. How do you feel being so powerful? I was like, what, me?
True.
So, but it's true, of course, I am. And
An epiphany, like a moment of.
yeah, but it's exactly. But I'm very honored, of course. But I do, and also happy, maybe wrong word again, to do this in this really challenging times that we are in. Terrible times also. So but I really like my portfolio again because it's I say this also, it's things that people really care about. When I go to my grocery store at home, people really ask me about my things, environment, water,
It
air
has to deal
pollution.
with like people, everyday life.
Exactly.
And this is also why I'm very passionate about it. It's
Yes.
actions we do every day
Yeah.
impact the climate and sustainability and vice versa. So it's really interconnected. Like
Exactly.
certain sectors, although very important, like economy, for instance, right?
Yeah.
But somewhat they are more distant. They're less
Exactly.
human.
Exactly.
It's more something we created rather than this. This is really life.
Yes. And one thing that I think about a lot, and is like, because I not only want to see fine words in a paper. We want to see results, you and I. And I often talk about, when it comes to my portfolio, when it comes to water and circular economy, for example, I think we need to change our mindset. We need to think different about how we buy clothes, how we use not coffee, but other things. That is not so easy to do, the change of mindset. But I suppose you, who meet so many people, how do you think I should work with changing people's mindset? Because I'm a politician, I can change rules, I'm powerful, but we also need from the bottom up to change
Of course. Well, thanks for the question, because it's really interesting. Of course, changing the rules is fundamental. In one day you can make a change which is law, then people have to obey, and we don't care if they understood it's important or not, but they have to respect it, right?
Yes.
So it's very powerful. But on the other hand, in order to do that, you need to be elected. So making sure that people go vote and making them understand how democracy and that system is important, and we should respect it by really doing our part would be very important. And I see that the institutions are doing a lot to bring people back into this. I think we are in this weird era where we're giving democracy for granted, right? It's been 80 years of peace in Europe, until a few years ago. And especially my generation, we never struggle with anything like wars and hunger and these things, right?
No.
So remembering that things are not for granted. There's people that fought even with their lives for this, and it is our duty to respect them and respect what we have now. And really, voting to me is a fundamental process. So if you are able to bring people back to that, so the question here is then, how do we do this?
Yeah.
And I think that, for instance, you being here with me today, it's a good way, because you're allowing like a very normal citizen, which is just very passionate about sustainability, to talk with you. It's such an honor, and it's of course I'm taking your precious time to do this. But this is a key moment, I think, because I hope that people will see this and will understand that you're a human being and you have passion and values, and you want to do your job. The commissions is there to help the people, and of course it's difficult because then there is the parliament, and how the system works is complicated. So maybe people will get interested in understanding how the system works, and it's all it's a wheel that turns and.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
This is one way. Communication is very important.
It is, and also on the way that people will listen to communication. So absolutely, I think I'm very happy that you invited me. But I'm also passionate, as you say, about democracy and getting people to vote, and also to give me inputs on. So I don't only do regulation, but it's also do regulation that people are on board on why we do things. That is also important for me. But because otherwise, I don't see how you get the results.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something interesting, see, because then to have them on board means you need to educate them somewhat, somehow. And so this is how all the department of the commission really needs to work together, right? And energy with climate, climate with environment, environment with education, and so it's really a teamwork.
It is.
Which is what Europe is, right?
Absolutely.
Together, stronger. It is a teamwork, and we need to work together and understand each other and really do the job.
Absolutely, but I think that one example, because I said I was here visiting Fontana di Trevi, but also water is important for me. And one example that I do think that we have good results to also to show how good cooperation actually works and legislation, because something that is, we have a problem with water in Europe. It's challenges of many different reasons, both when it comes to pollution and quantity and scarcity and floods and droughts.
Yes.
But and problem with litter on beaches. But actually the results in Europe is getting better. Also due to that people are aware of how to do with plastic litter, for example. So I think regulation is important, but also the people are on board and doing the changes, so we actually see results. So that is one thing that I would say that we can I can communicate better on, that we actually see the positive trends also.
What would be the most, apart from climate change itself, what's the biggest threat that the environment is facing at the moment in Italy, I would say, since you're here? Or Europe, if you feel like it's the most.
Yes, I have a European hat, of course. But in Italy, but also in Europe, I would say water, the stress water are under, both when it comes to scarcity of water that we sometimes fear, have here in Italy. And at the same time, even almost at the same time, really having floods.
Exactly.
So that is, of course, and that will only increase due to climate change. So we need to mitigate, we need to take some actions on that. But water is under stress from the other reasons also, pollution, as PFAS we talked about.
Right.
But also I'm a little bit frustrated that we have taken water for granted so long. Maybe other countries than Italy more, Sweden, for example, because we have a lot of water, but also we are under stress when it comes to water.
Italy as well, I guess. We're quite lucky with that, right? I mean,
compared to others,
be a southern country, I mean, at least.
Yes, but
southern European country.
Yeah, but this we need to tackle. We need to a lot of regulation is already there, so we need to implement.
So are we fixing the pipes, or because I know that there's 40% leaks in this country, which is a bit shameful.
It is. It's actually 40% of the water is leaking out of the system. That is, of course, costly, and it's not very sustainable.
No.
And also, it's a lack of, and that is we see all around Europe that we have a lack of investments in the infrastructure.
Right.
But this is a really manifold situation for our water. Of course, we also have a global level.
Right.
So this is, but I want to do this change of mindset, because me as a consumer also need to think a little bit different when I use water. I need to think how we use it best.
Right.
Because we are many who needs water, farming, industry, energy.
Of course.
We as consumer, of course. So it's that I would say is one thing that worries me, but also again trying to look at the solutions again.
Right.
We have a lot of innovation in Europe to be proud of. Just another figure. I know figures is really difficult, but 40% of all of innovation in Europe, in the world on water is done within the European Union. So we can actually do good for environment, water, and also for our businesses and competitiveness in Europe.
Okay.
So
you have a plan for Italy already in mind, or maybe is it too soon to ask?
Yes, of course we have plans, because every member state, we do this monitoring on every member state, so every member state can take that home and see, okay, what is our problem?
Right.
And for example, governance is something, because water is often in all member states often decided on local level. Sometimes you need to raise it to regional and national level and EU level, because floods they don't care about our borders.
Yes.
So it's also that. So yes, we have, but also I'm open to discuss also what can we do more. So because I think we need to do more, and also I think all of us need to think about it.
Of course, and for instance, the first thing I think is like to produce 1 kilo of red meat, you need 15,000 liters of water, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, it is something that is behind a lot of other products that we consume, right? I mean, water is necessary to produce them. So also this awareness of like how much is the impact of whatever we consume.
Exactly.
As maybe, which once again goes back to education, right? Which is
Absolutely, and again, I think reuse of water is something that you feel like but we need to reuse our water in a better way. That is something that the industry also understand, because they are also dependent on water. Not
course.
only farming, of course, we know that, but also energy, as I said, but also data centers,
Right.
car industry.
so some sort of circular economy applied to
Exactly.
industry on
On
based
water,
on water.
exactly.
Okay, okay, very interesting. And maybe you had some questions for me, I think.
Yes, I did have. Well, I have a lot of
You said it
questions.
before, Sorba.
No, but one big question. I've been a Commissioner for Environment for more than 110 days or something.
Okay.
Anyway, if you would have my job for one day,
Oof, oof.
what would you do?
Well, I would move the office from Brussels to Rome because the weather is much better.
I agree with that. Okay.
Number one. And then number two, I think even if I don't know if this is strictly in your responsibilities, but I think I would try to end the subsidies to fossil fuels, which would also calm down all of this little bit of extremist organizations that block traffics and throw pains on art and all of that, which is, in my opinion, not helping people to understand and embrace and empathize with the sustainability movement.
I take note and
right?
take it back with me. I'm
would
not
be-
sure that I can change the city though to Brussels, but I
Yeah.
take it.
but it's more important to end the fossil fuel
Yeah.
subsidies. So let's stay in Brussels, but do that. It would be amazing. That I think would be the first thing. Yes. Is it in your portfolio?
No, not really. But of course, I would say that when we talk about the challenges we have, I mean, security, of course, but also climate change, but also environmental, the threats that are against our biodiversity and nature. So, and they are linked. It's not, you cannot separate.
Exactly. It's very
so-
human to do boxes, right?
Exactly, and we
But
think,
in reality, it's just all together. I mean,
Good that you say you're human, because sometimes I think that politicians are especially specialized in doing silos.
True, because it's an easier way of doing things. But at the end, it's not easy. It's easy to think like that.
Yeah.
But then the problems are all connected, right?
They are.
I read that would free 50 billion euro annually. So
Yeah, it would.
Yes.
So yeah, good,
There's
because of
another
course.
figure which is very dangerous.
Yes, it is dangerous to use figures. Because, no, but that's good, because we need, of course, more money to invest in nature and invest in climate adaptation
Exactly.
and decrease the emissions. At the same time, to do that, I think it's important also to build a strong economy in Europe because that's how it all hangs together. So to
Supports.
say.
Yes,
Exactly.
of course. Now,
I
clearly,
mean,
the cost should not be dropped on consumers.
Exactly.
Obviously, because if you take them out today like that and
No.
there is nothing to
No.
support this action, clearly we would all end up paying more for something
No.
that we
So we
all
need
use.
to get that exactly.
Exactly.
Growth.
Yes.
So I think that is important for me to say also. We did the decision on Green Deal last mandate, the former Commission, and that is a growth pact in one way also, to do the green transition and see that
Right.
this going hands in hand. So
And
that
Europe is doing like it is.
Absolutely.
People don't know this sometimes, but we are amazing in
Yes.
this. Like it's one of the first conglomerate of nations that is really making a difference, right? I mean,
Exactly.
a lot of the energy now is from renewable, and I fear China is going to beat us though, because they're doing very well there.
sometimes
But let's
competition
see.
is good.
Yes, exactly. This is a valuable competition.
Yeah. No, we are good. We are doing good, but we need to also continue that. That's tough. So I'm happy. What is the most annoying thing that you do to be more sustainable?
Well, I have to be honest, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's just you and me.
Yes, and the seagulls.
Yes.
It's probably I would have said changing my diet, because I'm trying really to consume as much as I can vegan food or reduce my animal-based food. But now this comes quite easy because I'm eating a lot at home. Because of course in Italy it's very difficult to do this when you go around. We're very traditional still. Lot to do there. Speaking about education. So today I think that really the one thing that comes the hardest is sneakers.
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 Yeah. Okay. Why?
Because I have a problem. I cannot resist them, and I resist fast fashion. I
Yes,
do not buy
yes,
fast
yes,
fashion,
yes.
but with sneakers sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
I think there are innovations. I visited a chemical industry for a time ago. and
Exactly,
I
I'm
saw
seeing that
these
it's coming.
sneaker-
There's, you know, that there's a 1 billion and 200 million
Yeah.
pair of sneakers every year produced in the world. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's 1/7
Yeah.
of the world population with a new shoe. every
Okay, no, but yes, I would say I understand. But I do think there are innovations on doing a sustainable
Probably,
sneaker.
yeah.
But also that we need to think when we buy things, of course, both because we need to, and also the design of products must be more sustainable to keep them in the loop for a longer time, so to say. And here I would say the textile industry that I work with are very innovative and also into this. And so we're working on that also on how much of your sneaker that will be produced by materials that are recycled.
Yes, these, for instance, this is a nice collab that they found. But you know, sometimes it's difficult.
No,
So,
I
yeah,
understand.
That's my weak point.
Yeah, I understand. For me, I don't know, but I mean, you can eat. You know, I love Italy and I love the food here. But ice cream you can do, right, on vegan basis.
Of course, vegan ice cream.
I try to avoid ice cream because you know of other reasons. But
But the first reason that the problem you had when you came to Italy first, right?
exactly.
Do we want to share it or not?
No, we don't want to share it.
We'll keep our little secret.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the food here. So
Before exactly, let's see who understands. You know, before you leave, I have a small videos that I want to show you, and which is I went to this conference on wolves yesterday,
Oh.
and this is a friend of mine. She's a zoologist, and so I asked her to do a small video and for you.
Okay,
So,
let's see.
Since the whole situation with wolves is a bit funny, so basically, right, saying because they are all afraid that the wolves will lose their status as strictly protected to only protected, allowing people to kill them more easily. And it was interesting because the documentary shows that actually people that lost a lot of animals, you know, and farmers are the ones saying, we know that this is not going to change, and it's not a solution to downgrade the status. The solution is different. So what's your take on that?
No, I would start with saying I'm raised and born in an area where we have wolves in the middle of Sweden, of Dalarna, in the middle of Sweden.
Yeah.
So I know one thing that I think we all need to know: we need to live together. And also the good thing with the Habitat Directive that it's called, that is also protecting different species, is that the reason why we now move the wolf from one annex, now it's a little bit complex, to another, is that we have more wolves than we started. So I mean, from my point of view, I say that the Habitat Directive actually is functioning. We have rules that actually have increased the amount of wolves around Europe. So that is the reason why you move it. But it's still, well, we move it from strictly to only protected, but it's not only. It's something that all member states also need to protect. So in my view, it's a good example where we actually see that the legislation is functioning. But now all member states, the Commission has taken our decision, also built on other decisions before us, and now the member states need to implement this. But of course, still it's an animal that are still protected within the Habitat Directive. And here I also think I do believe that dialogue, always believe in dialogue. Again, back to your question on democracy.
Right.
And I think that we need to have a dialogue also, and also how we can protect the sheep. So that was one of the examples.
Basically.
And that is also solutions. But sometimes you also need to do other things to tackle wolves.
It is very, very
it's
time-consuming and very specific because each case is different, right? Each shepherd has different location,
absolutely,
different landscape, different kind of behavior of the animals that they raise and the wolves.
And where they are.
And yes, but these animals are incredible. I discovered yesterday there is a couple of wolves that moved from Italy to Spain all the way, and they have the collars so they could track them.
Yeah.
And this is how they are populating again the whole of Europe, but they will never be back in the UK since they extinct them.
No,
you know, there's no wolves in the UK anymore because they shot them all.
No, but we need to have acceptance for both. I mean, I meet also people who had their sheep killed by wolves. I mean,
Right.
we need to have this dialogue and understand how can we live together. That is my main goal. Comes to other big carnivals also.
So the discussion is still open.
No, it's not open in that sense that we are moving. It's from the wolf
Okay.
from one
Strictly-
annex
okay.
to the other.
Okay.
That the commission has already decided on.
Okay.
But now it has to be implemented by the council and the parliament,
All right.
and then the member states. So
Okay.
that is. But as I said, we have to remember why this was being done because we have a new situation in one
Right.
way. When it comes to wolves, we have a lot of wolves, which is a good thing. Shows that the directive actually is functioning, working.
Yes. No, the only fear I have is that it was working because of the strictly protected status, and now the status would change. Maybe we're gonna be, because there's also poachery and there's also illegal killing, right, as well, that it never counted. So, but I guess time will tell if this is the good choice or
think
not.
so, yeah. In
Unfortunately,
my-
we cannot ask the wolves.
And no, but that comes to a lot of other species also,
true.
or flowers, or butterflies, or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's true. But
Yes.
but of course, it is a sensitive question in a lot of member states also and regions.
Right.
So I think we need to have that dialogue and understand each other's point of view.
Right. Okay.
We're
Yeah,
very
well,
happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
And
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for being
much.
this view. It's amazing.
Yes.
So okay, I'll say yes on moving to Rome.
Right. I'm waiting for you. Yes. More coffee and more pastry for you.
Thank you very much.